Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Carol Moulton coming to you once again with Tea Time with Carol. I hope things are going well for you. It's kind of a rainy Saturday today, but it's okay. All is well. It'll be okay. Trust me, it will be fine. So I have fluffed up the pillows. I've got something. Maybe you need something a little stronger today, not just the regular tea. Maybe you need a little something sweet and something strong, like caramel macchiato, maybe, which is coffee with very high sugar content. But I won't tell if you won't. So I hope everything is going okay, as well as it can be, given all the craziness that is surrounding us. And this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's Mother's Day weekend. So I thought it might be appropriate to talk about kind of those two things together. Um, Let me just start by saying, this country seems to be falling apart, and it feels like there's nothing that we can do about it except, kind of sit on the sidelines and watch craziness. I mean, for real crazy taking over. We thought things were bad before, but this is like another level. But you know what they say, new level, new devil. And it seems like the level of disconnect, especially by people who claim to be Christians, is like just, I hesitate to use the word insane, but, we're kind of bordering on that, people who've turned the Bible upside down and inside out, and people who turn the Constitution upside down and inside out to justify their own means, to justify whatever it is that their agenda is. But, there's a word, and we're going to stay the course. And we're going to see about taking care of ourselves. And that's got to be the priority. So about mental health, one of the things, and I'm speaking to Black folks right now, one of the things that has not been talked about a lot, but there's beginning to be a lot more study of this, and that is the vestiges that we carry of slavery in our bodies. We are, and I'm not saying that we're victims. That's not what I'm saying. But there are things that we carry within us that trigger us very easily. And I think since the George Floyd fiasco, and all of that happened around him, we've become much more sensitive because we're seeing it all the time. You can hardly get on social media without seeing somebody being mistreated. And for a lot of people, that re-triggers over and over and over again the vulnerability that we feel in our bodies just living in America. That we're always subject to the whims of some racist person or some racist cop who decides that, our breathing is an insult to their existence. Our driving, our shopping, our living, whatever we're doing, it's an insult and a justification for them to mistreat us in some way. And living with that kind of knowledge all the time does take its toll. And I think that we're not always as cognizant of it. We think, oh, that happened over there, and we can sort of distance ourselves from it until it happens to us. So I just want to make a couple of suggestions. One, I just want you to be aware of that and how it plays out for you. But, do I have a solution? Maybe not in the big picture, but maybe in a smaller picture, yeah. One is when you acknowledge the trauma, when you can get to that point where you acknowledge that I am the recipient of trauma. There is stuff that's going on that I have no control over, and I can't do anything about it. And it's keeping me up at night. I'm not sleeping well. My appetite is off. I'm snapping at my kids. However it's coming out for you, I encourage you to, number one, rest. Take some time. And I'd hear you. I know you're saying I'm busy. My calendar is jam packed. Da 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 da. But I tell you what, if you don't find a way to deal with this now, when you get really really sick, then you will find the time. So let's take a moment and just pause and figure out how to take care of you, how to build taking care of you into your busy schedule. How about we do that? Okay. So you can find 2 minutes to turn off social media, and if it's that difficult for you to turn it off, turn it to a picture of nature, of a calm sea or a beautiful sunset, or whatever you like. Turn it to that. Set your timer for 2 minutes and think of nothing. And okay, think of, and the more, if you're not a meditator, then this may be difficult. But the easiest way to start is just take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and then just focus on your breath. And that way you don't have to consciously try to, I'm not thinking. You don't have to consciously do anything. You just focus on your breath. And the more you focus on your breath, the easier it becomes. The easier you breathe, your body relaxes. A lot of the tension goes out. You'll be amazed at how much tension you're carrying in your body, and all of that has to go somewhere, when you're living in fight or flight. All of that, all of those hormones, all of that's being stored up in your body has to be released somewhere. And it usually comes out in something that's kind of negative. So taking a moment to just breathe and relax and let it all out does amazing things for your body. That's one thing you can do. And if you have more than 2 minutes, even better. But I'm just suggesting as a baseline, you can find 2 minutes. Now, don't try to tell me that you can't find 2 minutes, and I mean literally 2 minutes. And don't start thinking, okay, I need to shut this off at 1 minute 30. No. Give yourself permission. I'm going to take 2 minutes just for me. Everything else can wait. I don't need to respond to emails right this second or return phone calls. I can take 2 minutes for me. And do this every day. And do it morning and evening. And if you do it right before you go to sleep, you may find that you sleep much better. Another thing you may want to try, and this is for your overall health and well-being and positive mental health. And it sounds crazy, but I swear it works. And that I may have mentioned this to you before, and that's to conclude your shower every day with cold water. Now the way this works, and I heard this from a neuroscientist, so trust me, it works. And there's a reason why it works, and I'm not going to give you all the science behind it. But, take a regular shower, and then I don't switch it all the way to cold right away. What I do is I notch it down a little bit at a time. That's the only way I can tolerate it, And so then when I get it all the way to cold, I stand there for maybe 30, 40 seconds. Now, what he suggests, the neuroscientist suggests, is that you get out of the shower, 3 times and get back in. Out, in, out, in. It's like the Polar Bear Club, the people who like to go swimming in the ocean in freezing water. I don't go that far. And I don't even go 3 minutes in cold water. But it does wonderful things for your attitude, for your well-being, your peace of mind. And there's a side benefit. It helps you lose weight. It burns the brown fat that you want to get rid of. So try those 2 things. And those are important, to take care of you. Secondly, or third, I don't know, I've lost count. Acknowledge kind of where you are. Acknowledge you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. So if you're having a hard time, if stuff that's going on in the world is too much for you, acknowledge that. You know, personally, I stopped looking at the news a long time ago. I cannot. Well, first of all, most of it is not news. You know, I grew up where the people who reported the news were the people who went out and got the stories and told you what was going on. And it was rather unbiased. Now there's so much bias, left or right, whatever. There's nobody who's just telling you what happened without a whole lot of interpretation behind it. The other thing is that we have mistaken gossip for news. And so I am so tired of hearing about Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez and who's mad at who, and just all the stuff that's going on in the celebrity world. Don't know them, don't care, wish them well, but I do not want to hear about them every day like it's news. No, just no. Thirdly, what I'd like to suggest, in the Black community, we have traditionally shied away from acknowledging any kind of mental health issues. Now, everybody had a crazy uncle or somebody in the family that, you just didn't really talk about too much, but everybody knew they were kind of off. And part of that is, well, there are just a whole bunch of reasons why we traditionally have not sought help. But it is time to put all that aside and start getting the help that we need to survive this, this whatever this is that we're in right now. And it will help you in so many ways. I've done it. When I was going through some issues, I went to a therapist, and I'm not talking about years and years ago. I'm talking about like a year or two ago. I've been thinking about going back, for like a tune-up. But it helps. I think a lot of times we use our friends and our trusted and our relatives as therapists. And it's really not fair to them, and it's not fair to you, because they love you, they're on your side, and they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And you need somebody who can be objective, and reflect things back to you in a much more objective kind of way. Because you tell your friends some stuff about, your husband or your boyfriend, and, they'll be gritting on them next time they see them. They'll be wanting to slap them. And you will have made up and be all booed up and everything. And it'll be very difficult, to maintain that kind of relationship. So don't use your friends or your relatives as your therapist. Get somebody, pay them, or see if your insurance will pay them. And then you get the objective help that you need. There are a number of places where you can get a referral. There's a website called Therapy for Black Girls, and they've got a lot of really good information on that, on things that you can, places you can go, places you can seek help. There's another one called the Association for Black Psychologists, and they've got a lot of good information on their website as well. So those two places, check them out, and that may get you, kind of get the ball rolling on seeking the help that you need. But do that rather than walking around mad or snapping at your children or being mad at the world. Just find a way to deal with this craziness, where it's where you can tolerate it, where you'll be okay. You'll be okay. And so, I like to leave you with a word from the Lord. And as I've indicated, I read this every day. Well, I've fallen off kind of, but I'm getting back to it. you know, sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. Let me just say, we're not perfect. And it's okay that you're not perfect. And God loves you anyway because He made you and He knows you're not perfect. So it's not a surprise to Him. Oh, God, she's not perfect. Oh, oh, surprise. I'm shocked and amazed. But okay, I'm being funny slightly. In my devotional, I hear His whisper. And I thought this was so appropriate that this came up yesterday. Um, about rest. And so I'm going to read you a little snippet from yesterday's reading. And it's called, I Work in the Silent Moments of Rest. Now that's an interesting concept right there, that when you're resting, He's working. But anyway, this is what he says. This is what He's saying to you. This is the message from Jesus to you today. Your life, you, beloved, your life is my garden, and I'm the one who's responsible to bring forth my fruit from your life. Watch me work in your silent moments of rest. You are branches in me, meant to remain close and connected to my heart. Your life will flow with milk and honey as you remain in living fellowship with me. When I created man and woman on the sixth day, I created them for more than labor. I created them for rest. Their first day was my seventh, a day of rest. All your fruit is in me. All your fulfillment will be found in the satisfying Sabbath of my life in you. Your first love will be restored as you lay your head upon my shoulder. Come, child of delight, child of my heart, come to me. I know all there is to know about you, and I love you more than you can perceive. I am gracious and tenderhearted. As you eat from the garden of my presence and rest in me, you will bear the fruit of my spirit in your life. And the scripture reading is from the Song of Songs. His left hand cradles my head, while his right hand holds me close. I am at rest in this love. So, beloved, this weekend, I invite you to really rest. And I know for a lot of people, this is a difficult weekend. Everybody did not have a great relationship with their mother. You know, maybe your mother passed away when you were still a child. Maybe she was absent from your life for any number of reasons. Maybe you just didn't have a good relationship with her. You know, not everybody has the, June Cleaver, peaches and cream. Your mother is so supportive and loving and wonderful and great. And everybody didn't have that kind of relationship with their mother. I did not. I did not. My relationship with my mother was very, very, very difficult. I knew she loved me, but like me, maybe not so much. And I think she probably had a number of reasons why she didn't. But it was a traumatizing, kind of thing for me. But I found a way at the end to make peace and to honor her as the Bible tells me to, as my mother, and I think that's important if you do have a difficult relationship, and if you are able to talk to her in some way, honor her as your mother. That doesn't necessarily mean, goo goo gaga, you got to spend a lot of time. You find a boundary that's appropriate for you while you can still honor her as your mother. And I just want to share that. That's really on my heart today, that it's a difficult weekend, because we live in a society where these expectations that are placed on us are so high, whether it's Christmas or Mother's Day or birthdays, we're expected to, live a Hallmark card kind of life. And everybody doesn't, and that's okay. So I just want to tell you today, I love you. I truly love you. And hear that and receive that from the bottom of my heart. I'm telling you how much I love and care for you. And so if you find that this is a difficult time, just, think about these words. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And that somebody here does love you. So as always, feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can reach me on Facebook and on Teatime with Carol. I've got a website there. Not website, but a site there. And until next time, beloved, stay sweet, stay strong. You are loved. I will talk to you again real soon. Love you. Take care. And remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Love, 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 love.